with no further ado, we're off to the races. And anybody who's willing to turn on your videos, you're my town because it makes it much more fun to talk. So everyone's telling you how to use AI, and lots of people promise AI will get everything done better, faster, easier. And the reality is it won't unless you use it right. And there are things about using it right. So in this talk today, we're going to present some research talking about how you use AI for innovation. We're going to talk a little bit about Miro, which is a whiteboard technology, but you can use all the different ones. Give me all the names of all the whiteboards, Shayne.
Mural, Miro, Stormboard, Concept Board, Collab Board, Lucid Sparks. There's a
Uh,
few more.
so they're all there, and about half of them are AI enabled right now. And we're going to talk about some basics of workshop design. And the really cool thing is we're going to give you access to some templates that will allow you to use these things with your work groups and stuff like this. So the challenge, AI can be great. However, it can also lead you very, very fast down the wrong path if you don't use it correctly. And to work effectively with AI, it's not just being able to run a prompt. It's three things coming together. One is domain expertise. You need to know in the area that you're working. Method expertise. If it's accounting that you're looking at, if it's finance, in our context, we're looking at innovation. And lastly, you need AI expertise, and you need to bring those three together. And there's another thing there, which is sort of on top of this. And that is while you're doing this, you have to keep your brain on. Because in fact, if you just follow AI and where it's leading you, AI is a prediction machine, which gives the most obvious next answer, which means it's not going to be all that creative unless you force it to be creative. So there's a disclaimer. The last time we did this talk, we did it with people with Miro. They're saying everything is about keeping everything on the board. So they talk about innovation boards. Um, we wanted to do that, but we actually found out that we're not able to do all the things we want to do on the board. So our solution we'll talk about today is using Miro to connect human beings and AI. You keep your team on the board, but you have one person who's able to go on the board and off the board. And this off the board and on the board will make sense as we talk about what Miro is. So the background for this talk is we've put together a really powerful toolkit. And in that toolkit, we guide people through the innovation process. In about half the time, we deliver 2 to 3 times as many results. And that toolkit has a total of 259 AI tools, 6 apps, and 25 GPTs that bring you through the whole innovation process. And it's truly amazing stuff, but it's something that took a long time to build. Where we're using this most right now is running innovation sprints. And an innovation sprint is typically run over 5 days. And what we've been able to do is by augmenting all these parts with AI, what we're able to do is take a 5 day sprint, squish it down to 2 days. And one of the things that's really important is, if you've ever done a 5 day sprint, at the end of 5 days, your brain is dead. What we do is we do 2 days, we take some time off, and then people come back. So we do everything, and then we even add a little bit at the end. But there's a problem with this. The better the AI gets, the less people think. And you have to keep their brains on. And the reason what happens is AI tends to be very text-based. So when you see a wall of text, how do you translate it? How do you get overwhelmed by output? So for example, our toolkit, if you run it for an innovation challenge, will generate somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400 ideas for an innovation challenge. You got a month of Sundays, you're not going to read through that whole thing. There's also the problem when AI is there, we tend to stop talking together. And lastly, and probably more important than anything else, is if you're giving agency to AI and you don't own it, how are you actually going to move forward and do something with it? So what I want to do is give you a starting point to show how good AI is, and then talk to you about, how things fit together. So the background information is some new research we've been doing on creativity. We're building on some research that was done actually at my alma mater, which is Cornell University in the US. And they were looking at the ability of AI and using AI differently to get more diversity in terms of ideas. And the basic end result they came up with, they say, yeah, it sort of works, but it doesn't do great, fantastic things. And we thought that, in fact, the issue was they weren't using, I just see a note here. I'm not seeing the slides. It might not be in my screen. Do you guys see the slides right now? No, shit. All right. So my bad. Shayne, you should have told me. Let me do this.
I did. I messaged you.
All right, I didn't see it. Cool. Okay, now I think you see it. So, but
Yes.
I did see your beautiful faces as I was going through it, so that's cool. So there was no issues there. So what was interesting from back here, probably nothing you needed to see. This was kind of cool because we talked about doing a sprint over 5 days and squishing it down to 2 days. That's kind of cool. But everything else you don't need to see. So we're at the point here doing some research on AI to generate ideas. What we did is we did some testing where we had human beings generate ideas for an innovation challenge. And in this case, we used exactly the same challenge that was in the original study. We had human beings working with AI, but not given any instructions. Human beings working with AI, but being taught how to generate clear objectives and what we'll call smart AI. So the full test that we did is we had a whole bunch of different ways of generating ideas, and effectively human beings, let's see if this works. Human beings all by themselves, human beings with AI, human beings with clear targets, and human beings with some different prompts. And we'll tell you what comes out. So the thing that we had here is we started with just generating the ideas. Then we helped them say, look, try to figure out what you're generating ideas for. We let them use AI, ChatGPT 3.5 and 4.0. Just give me a bunch of ideas. And then we use something which we'll call smart AI. And smart AI isn't actually that smart or that complicated. It's actually just knowing enough to ask the right question. So, for example, if any of you want to generate ideas to solve an innovation challenge, this prompt actually works really, really well. It's the winner out of 140 prompts. So think like an innovation expert. Please generate 80 ideas for our challenge based on the TRIZ inventive principles. And I don't see your screen, so I was going to say how many people know something about TRIZ. But TRIZ is a really cool way of generating ideas. And for each of these, give us 2 ideas. That's not that hard, but what you need to know is that there's something called TRIZ, and you need to be able to put together the prompt. So the types of smart prompts we had alternative views. Imagine right now I wouldn't want to say imagine you're Elon Musk, but let's say imagine you are somebody else. Try to generate ideas that way. Leading creative tools, creative combination, which is merging things together. Build me an idea that's red, rhymes with pickles, and makes it easier to study. And a whole bunch of different methods all combined together. What we've got, which we've built, is a toolkit where you can use the different methodologies. And actually, if you just go to one of the tools, you fill in the objectives and you push a button, what will pop out on the other side is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of ideas. For a typical innovation challenge, somewhere 700 to 1,200 ideas. What we got here was in our testing, we took 5,400 ideas, 270 from human beings alone, 310 from human beings working with AI, 450 from the smart target plus AI, and 4,300 with the smarter AI. Now, the reason I'm going through this is to show you, in fact, the value of AI in the process. The first thing where you could look at the quality of the ideas generated is by rating the ideas on a scale of 0 to 10. And what we're looking at 0 to 10 on purchase intention and novelty. And we have a score for the ideas for humans, just under 5, average a little bit this. If you're an academic like I am, you get excited because the numbers are large, there's statistically significant differences, but in fact, there is no difference. So you would say as a starting point, the quality of ideas on average is the same. The second thing that you can look at in terms of idea generation is how different the ideas are, how unique they are, and you can measure them with something called cosine similarity. So for example, if I have an idea which is described, that is a very happy person, and that is a happy person, those are statements which tend to be quite similar in terms of what they're representing. That is a happy dog is closer than today is a sunny day. And what we can look at here is what you want is a low number. And what you can see is that human beings beat out all the AI in terms of novelty of ideas. And so you might say, well, actually, we should just stop. But there's an important part of the question, which does anybody want 5,000 ideas to solve a challenge? In fact, what you want is a couple good ideas. So what we redid, and if you want to take a screenshot of one thing, the next slide is going to be the one you want to take a screenshot. What we did is we put in a line to analyze what are the top 5% of ideas, and we look where all those ideas come from. And now what we see is a huge difference coming up. Human beings were hitting top ideas approximately 1% of the time. Human beings with AI, 1.5%. Human beings with a clear target, 2%. So this is already twice as good just by clarifying the target. But with the AI in place, we're looking at ideas which are 8 times better on average. Now, the important thing here is we're not talking about the number of ideas generated, but it's the hit rate. And just to drive home the point, what I want to do is show you the results in a slightly different way. So what we have, human beings versus AI, AI helps. If you say, look, we have structured our challenge and we use AI, it's better. And the newer version is better than the older version. When we add in method expertise, we get much better. And actually, what we have is some new results. One is, for some of you who are not familiar with AI, AI works in one direction. There's no backspace in AI. If you put in an iterative prompt chain, where AI works backwards and forwards, evaluating and improving its ideas, we get almost twice as good results. And if we add humans in the loop, I think we can get to the point where things are really good. So now what you see is AI can be in there, but the challenge is, what do you do to bring it all together? And if human beings aren't involved, they're not going to make things happen. So let's start with some introductions. Who are we? I'm Bryan Cassady. A lot of people use the term serial entrepreneur. I think I fit that quality. I've done 11 companies in 6 countries with 8 exits along the way. A few years ago, somebody asked me to teach, and I said, who wants to teach? It turned out that actually I like teaching. And I set up a foundation to coach, train 1 million innovators by 2027. And actually, the number's not right. I've taught around 15,000 this year, not 5,000. But I'm a long ways off. And the only way that I'm going to reach it is with AI. Here's Shayne. Shayne, are you there? You're on mute, I'll bet.
I am. Thank you. So it's nice to meet you all. My name is Shayne. I've been designing workshops for about 15 years. And a lot of that has been in-person workshops with about 5,000 hours for facilitation. And for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working on workshop design for artificial intelligence. So prompting and applying workshop design techniques to, well, artificial minds. They're modeled after the same neuron structure. So all the techniques in real world work just as well with AIs. And I'm also a MVP, or a most valued partner, with Miro in the last 6 months, which I'm really happy about. And we're going to show you some of that today. But if we can just go to the next slide, Bryan, I just want to talk a little bit about what is workshop design and why does it matter? When you're designing processes or how you work together or rituals, it's very easy. You've all been in a meeting where things that can be unstructured, or they're inefficient, or the speaker everybody doesn't have the same amount of voice around the room. And the point of deliberately designing workshops through methods and patterns is to guide the team thinking, so everybody knows how to solve the problem, but also to ensure that you're opening up and expanding on ideas and you're converging on them as well, and to ensure that there's really alignment and collaboration between everybody. And the important thing about the way that workshop exercises are designed is that they're designed to counter cognitive bias, all those kind of bugs that we all have in our head that we can't get away from. And I guess lastly is that a workshop should really be an experience. So it's something that is memorable and enjoyable. So let's move across to what might workshops look like in Miro.
So actually, before we get there, we're going to actually talk a little bit about what Miro is. And by the way, your videos came back down again, so now I can see you again. So what are we going to try to do to keep human beings in the loop? We are going to talk to you about something called Miro, and then Shayne is going to show you the Miro boards that we got. We like it because it's a way of designing a workshop and getting people to work together. Now, this thing called Miro has done a big evolution over time. In 2011, it was just online whiteboarding. So basically a place that people could write stuff together. In 2018, it was about visual collaboration. And today they're developing what you'll call innovation workspaces, where everything is together in one space. So what I'm going to do is show you really quickly a video on this and see how this plays.
So what's happened to how we work today? I mean, there's an update meeting about an update meeting from a meeting that was 2 hours ago. How are this many productivity tools productive? We message about the work more than getting the actual work done. The way we work isn't working. We're siloed off, heading off in different directions. Teams are, well, shutting off. Enter Miro, the innovation workspace. It's one AI-powered platform for the whole team to move faster together, from idea to outcome. All built on a collaborative, intelligent canvas. You could be stuck with a whole bunch of ideas, but no action. Or your team could use Miro AI right on the canvas to stay in their flow, creating product briefs, defining solutions, and aligning on a plan to deliver outcomes. We're on a roll. Let's keep this momentum. Turn ideas into interactive prototypes while using AI to get you there in minutes and get them into customers' hands for feedback faster than ever before. Another all-nighter finding everything you need for tomorrow's review? Nope, easily find it all in one handy space. Some helpful suggestions from our AI sidekick? Amazing. And a quick check-in to make sure stakeholders are feeling good. Woohoo! Let's go! A project from start to finish, all in one innovation workspace. That's a go for launch, my friends. So where to next, team? Innovation belongs on the canvas. Innovation belongs on Miro.
By the way, we're not paid anything by Miro to talk about Miro, but Miro is a good example. And Miro provides a interesting way of bringing people together for innovation challenges. So basically, we looked at 3 challenges. People don't pay attention to others in AI. What we can do within Miro is we can explicitly make review steps and get people aligned. There's too much information in the process. You can take 1,000 ideas and you can sort them out effectively with their AI tools, summarize and classify. And we can also get the fact that people, when they're working together, oftentimes they're not collaborating. We can put explicit steps in to make people work together. And effectively, if I was to summarize the whole workshop design, it's about pause, reflect, improve, and going step by step. What we've done, I've got a new book which is coming out. Shayne is one of the co-authors of that book. We have 28 tools to innovate better, faster, and easier. And what we're going to show you today is 3 out of the 23 tools out of the 28 we could have built matched to Miro. And what I'd like to do here, Shayne, is can you take over screen sharing so it's on your side? You're muted again.
Possibly.
While we're doing our technical turnover, any questions you have so far? I can see Enrique, I can see Amaze. Does it make sense what we're talking about?
Oh, completely, Bryan. I believe in real-time, collaboration and co-creation. So this type of, new ways in how we can collaborate and co-create is the way to go. Meaning is for me the engine for innovation in this new digital era. So we are completely aligned.
That is good. No, I think the idea is we add these tools, but we have to find ways to use the tools effectively. And when the tools take over the process and our brains go off, it doesn't help us that much.
Agreed.
Shayne, how are you doing with this screen sharing there? Are you winning on your side or no?
I'm winning. I think I've got it. All right. So talking about tools and sharing them. So there are 3 tools that we wanted to show you today, and they bridge from one side of boards that are within Miro, where we implemented AI, to a combination of where we work in Miro and then we bridge to the more powerful tools through AI for innovation, and then a really powerful tool within AI for innovation, which is the pitch deck. So I'm going to show you part of it on the screen and part of it on the board. So the first tool is called True North. And if you're familiar with the Cycles book, you'll be familiar with this template. It's fairly, it's actually one of the most powerful templates in the book, and it enables your teams to align around their direction. So in this particular model, you could have 5 or 6 different people, and you each run through what you individually believe is the narrative, objective, restrictions you face, tactical constraints, and where you're going to start in order to get towards your goals. And that combination of all those we call truly simple or true north. And what this template does is, you've probably seen these kind of models before, but everybody works vertically. And then this little cog, if you like, with the arrow is AI embedded on the board. And what that will do, it will automatically, also magically, look at all the content that everybody everybody's created, and it will pull out the unique concepts. So in this way, that on the board you can substitute what would normally be manual work in a workshop into automated work. And there are 3 parts of AI automation. After pulling the ideas apart and looking at the concepts, we have a vote and select, where people can select a few of the ideas, and then the AI will merge them back in together. So you get this idea of you can sort of concertina and space everything out, analyze it in detail, and then remerge it back together. And then finally, we have an AI assessment. And I'm going to try and switch shares now. I hope I don't break it. Okay. So on the actual Miro board, you see this template that we've just been running through, and you can see a little bit more here in the detail. So when people fill in the post-it notes, they select the AI and they can choose run. And what it'll do is it will generate the breakdown here. Similarly, it'll take the individual post-its and merge them together into a merged version of the highest voted ideas, and then simplify that and rewrite it. And then lastly, on the board, you'll see that we have this very big analysis that's done in one piece. So once the teams have come up with, they're aligned around what their true north is, they know what their narrative is, their objective is, and their constraints, then in one go, the AI will generate in their workflow a complete analysis of, for each of the areas within the true north model, what is the question that they're being asked? What did they come to with the answer? How does the AI rate the quality of that answer using star symbols? And then it will provide improvement suggestions, but also importantly, its rationale for those improvement suggestions. So if you're used to working with whiteboards or digital whiteboards, then it starts like this: run the AI, and they run the AI just by doing this, type run, and then generate sticky notes, and it will produce that grid exactly like that. I don't run it now because it's quite a lot of brain work for it. It takes about a minute. So that's the pure onboard version of AI, if you like. And then we get into some more interesting ones. So the follow-on models from True North are looking at...
Question, how does this help the humans work together, in your opinion?
Thank you. Thank you, Bryan. So the importance about having it all exposed on the board is that you get to contribute and see the thinking of the AI. So it's transparent. So as you go through, you're actually getting some results from the AI, manipulating them, and then getting it to do more work for you, and then manipulating the results, rather than it just being a black box where you're not actually engaged at all. I've got a thumbs up from Bryan. That's good. Working, once you start working with exposing the information of the AI on the board, it becomes very natural to expect it. I'm not used to AIs going off and thinking on their own. The other, of course, important part is that when you're working on that board together, you can have 10, 20 people all working and looking at the AI results at the same time, not all closed off on their own little chat boxes.
But one of the things that I found is very interesting here, when the AI looks at my comments and somebody else's, we oftentimes agree a lot more than we think we agree. And the AI can sort of find the essence of commonality or the essence of difference more effectively than I can because of my bias. Oh, I wrote something quite different. I'm quite clever. And actually, we're just saying the same thing differently.
That's a good point of transparency and leveling. So that's the True North model with AI. Then from that True North model, the next thing you want to do, once you know what direction you're going in, is you want to generate ideas. And this is where it gets to be an interesting mix between the two tools. So in this particular model, we look at if we're fully aligned on what it is we want to do and where we want to go, then we need to really ideate or generate ideas on what it is that we're going to build and what the final product's going to look like. And this is where, when Bryan was talking about the different quality of ideas, if we ask people to ideate, then it's quite hard work for them, it's a lot of cognitive work, and they'll come up with a rather heavy overlap between the ideas. So in this particular one, we looked at what other models could we use, and Bryan talked earlier about the TRIZ analysis. You could look at famous inventors, clear views, and all these different models. And when we do that, we get on the board, at least, a lot more detail, but not such a broad spread. So in this particular case, let me just step back. So in this particular case, you can choose which particular method of ideation you would like to use, and it will generate a series of ideas and give you, for example, an idea might be Tesla's wireless ride. It has an evaluation of utility, novelty, and an overall idea score, and it tells you how it was built. But within the Miro board, the AI can't easily generate a large number of ideas. So what our AI tool does is, by filling in the form within the website, you can generate far more ideas that are of better quality. And you'll see scores like 8.6, 8.6, 8.8, and compared to the 8.2. So in this particular case, you get a combination of both. You can run them on the board and get a very simple idea, or you can go in the tool through the website, which is also linked on the board. You can see it down here. Open the tool, and then you can get hundreds of ideas very, very quickly. And that's one of the powers of the tool. The other part that makes it powerful is the iteration. So Bryan mentioned that we can create a larger number of ideas and then select down to the best results of those ideas. Let's go into, once you have those ideas, then the next thing that you can do on the board is cluster them by what are the core keywords within those ideas, so you can find things that are similar. And by combining both the human ideas together with the AI generated ideas, and what happens is everybody goes and looks, first of all, at their post-it note. What did they write? And what that does, of course, is it puts their post-it note right in the middle of the other AI content. And that appears to them mentally adjacent. So they're far more willing to consider the other ideas within that same bucket. Okay, I had an idea about, cycling and biking. Great. Oh, look, so did the AI. Let's see and compare how I did to the AI, or how the AI thinks differently depending on your worldview. But you see that in all cases, that people are far more willing to accept and explore the ideas of the AI. And then finally, within this model, you can grab the clusters that are most interesting and then vote them forward. And again, in this case, you're working with 5, 10 people, or you can work with about 50 people at the same time, if you like, to arrive at a final idea. So that's great. Now we've got a final idea. We know where we're going. We know what we want to pitch. We know what we want to produce as our product or service. And then the final step in that is, okay, now I need to pitch it. Financing, customers, etc. So in this particular template, we have it feels like a lot of questions, but they're all rather simple. So in the pitch canvas, we ask people to look at their product or service from 3 different angles. The first is defining your goal and your core message. And these are very simple questions like, why is it important to you? What is the goal of your pitch, etc. Each person answers those for themselves, so they're, if you like, not aligned. Then they vote on which one's the most interesting and arrive at a consensus. Similarly, we ask them to define what is the core content of their pitch. And finally, what is the call to action that we want to take? Why should people believe you? And why do they need to remember you? So that's quite a lot to pull together. The good news is that the AI will help you create those summaries. And then where the real magic happens is the back part of this process. And if you look at the process from a very zoomed out view, all the human work is really on the left, and all the AI cooperative work is on the right. So I've got a version that's completed down below. You can see people have completed their core message. They've defined the content of their pitch, voted and selected it. They've made sure that they've got some reasons why you should believe them. And now comes the really interesting work. We pull it all together. This is the summaries. And then we can ask the AI to create a pitch summary. So similar to what we showed you earlier, we select the content, run the AI, and we get this document here. And then what we've done is we've asked also for an assessment of the quality of that. So we put another embedded prompt here where we select these two and we run the AI on the left. And it will give an analysis or an AI communication pitch review. What is it that, is it good? Is it compelling? And what could be better? participants work together on refining that. And then it gets really interesting again, because this is the real power, I think, of the AI for Innovation toolkit. When Bryan was showing you the different kinds of results and the different AIs, what Bryan and the team quickly realized was that the choice of AI that you use impacts the quality of the results. So on a pitch score of 132 out of 150, which is about the max on these models for GPT-4, of course, you've got newer models. This really hit the 91st percentile. So these were great pitches, or the AI would generate great pitch results. And then different models, average results, and then below average pitches. But all of these top level pitches are above what humans can achieve because they've gone through iterations. And if you like, they're competitive within the AI. So at this stage, using this pitch summary, using the pitch review and the pitch summary, you can ask the AI to create an AI generated pitch, which really merges it together. And we've got the prompts on the board to do that. You can just link straight to ChatGPT. But the real power comes then in using the offboard tools. And as you go through the model, you'll see here that there's a pitch review tool. It's got a QR code that you can use, or you can use the link on the board. And what that'll do is it'll take you to the AI for Innovation free pitch review tool. It comes in two components. There's a 9-page short pitch for you. And then there's an extended report, and that's where you get a lot of pitches. So you've got the free report, and then you've got the extended report. And what the extended report does is it provides you with all the different formats in which you may need to pitch, so that rather than having to rewrite everything all the time, you've got it all put together. So you can have the problem solution pitch, you can talk about the enhanced pitch, NABC pitch, elevator pitches, all those kind of things. But within this board, you can take your AI generated pitch, you can open up the AI for Innovation application, and then run the output and place it back onto the board. And what it will do is it'll give you this stack of PDF pages, and you can see here we've expanded them out. And the benefit of that is you've got the analysis and you've got the overview. So now all humans need to do is just quickly mark up which bits they find interesting and the key things that the pitch tool has taught them, such as their pitch lacks urgency or it doesn't have substantial data, so that they can then work on it. Everybody finalizes the pitch, and then again, we get the AI to create a slide outline. And Bryan and the team have very cleverly put in this link to Gamma. So once you've got your final pitch, then it will generate the outline that you can put straight into Gamma, and you'll get a complete pitch deck. And that's the way it works. So you see that all the way through that, you've got this interaction with this kind of ebb and flow between humans do some things, AI do some things, and you get to see what it's done, so you can edit it and change it. And then we have of course, the superpower tools of producing many different variants and qualifying them against each other. Does that really capture the AI tool, do you think, Bryan?
It does, but I think without having using it, it doesn't do it justice. So, I'll give you an example. I used to run a program called the Founders Institute. It would take people somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks to write a decent pitch. Okay, what we're looking at here is the ability to work with AI to define your objectives, to generate hundreds of ideas, select the best one, write a pitch, and do this whole thing in a couple hours. So we're looking hours per week. They used to take you 1 week, you're doing that in 1 hour now. And the value that comes up here is also the iterative process. Your first idea is never a great idea. It's actually the process of building ideas. And when you use AI as a feedback tool, rather than an idea generation tool, it does really amazing stuff. So I don't know what people think, but it's if you do this for a living, which I do, I run groups, with 400 or 500 startups at a time. It's amazing what you can get people to do that they couldn't do before. So I used to run a program which is 3 weeks. I now do it in 1 week.
quite faster. So I'm just flipping through the slide deck. I quite like presenting in Miro because I'm used to it. So
But I think you covered the stuff, Shayne. I think what we covered is actually, it's the interaction going back and forth. It's using AI to supplement what the humans are doing, to work backwards and forwards, to do things together, which gives you great stuff. And really the opportunity is at the end of this, we're going to give you a link. If you want to go off and try the toolkits, you can go out and try them out. You can also give us a call and we can set up a quick demo of how it runs and things like that. Okay, cool.
All right.
Well, I'm going to steal back the screen from you.
Slide presentation. Perfect.
Yeah. Fix current share. So I'm going to come back here. So
how's everybody feeling? If you can just write in the chat, is this yes, I get it, or no, I need more information? Could you just give us a feeling in the chat? Say yes if it all makes sense. No if you'd like more information, or maybe. It does. Great. Love it. Thank you, Enrique. Pedro. Everybody else is looking to the keyboards.
Cool.
Thank you, Rugvida. Thank you. Okay.
So one of the things we've tried to do is to create something that you can use out of the box. And you see a sad guy here saying you don't need us. And actually you don't. The toolkit that we have, you can run yourself. The Miro boards, the templates, you can use yourself. You can get started, and you can get started in the next 10 minutes. We'll give you the links at the end. What we can do is help you go faster, better, quicker than you do it on your own. And why do we do it faster? Is not because we're more clever, but we've made all the mistakes that you can possibly make. So the more mistakes that you make, the better you get it running. And we've road tested all this stuff. What do you get if you work with us? We have innovation expertise, we have sprint expertise, AI expertise, Miro expertise. We're integrated. And some people even said we're fun. I think we're fun. And it's putting the energy into the events that you're running together. Now, I can see the dates here. We'd love to do some stuff together. There's different ways you can do things. One is you do it alone. That's free. There's another freebie. You can talk to us, and we'll give you access to the toolkit for your feedback. We can do a 2-hour workshop. Right now, we're doing testing out the Miro tools on client. Normally, a 2-hour workshop. It looks expensive because you say, well, 2 hours, you get $3,000. But it's not 2 hours of work when you run a workshop. It's a day of work to be able to run a workshop. And we also are doing trainings. And if you'd like, you say more or go with the feedback thing. What next? You can do things. We can do an AI for innovation workshop. We can do workshop design. We got 25 different workshops we run. We do sprints. We do TRIZ. Jim, I'm saying fascinating and a bit overwhelming. What you're trying to do is you're trying to throw out stuff to get you interested. So challenges, start out and we'll give you some more stuff. If you want the slides from this, you just have to shoot the link, or Shayne, if you put in the link and from the WhatsApp group, we got the end. We'll give you some free stuff for your feedback. So if you tell us what you thought, you get the Miro templates, you get a copy of my book. Every author tells you their book is great, but actually, I think the book is quite good. You get the toolkit to generate lots of ideas and some free resources to run a sprint. It looks something like this. All the different things are there. You just have to fill in the feedback form. And if you want, So Jim, let me summarize this whole thing. What you need to remember in this whole thing is humans in the loop is key. The second thing, call us and it will be easier to keep the humans in the loop. You can do a free consultation with us. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. I do probably 2 or 3 workshops per month, and you're welcome to join in if you come sign up, follow up. And now is, can you put this? Yes, there it is. So we have a link here, which is to get feedback. We have all the Miro templates. If you want to go use them, you just click. They're free. You can contact me or Shayne. And now comes my favorite time of this, because actually, tell me if you have a question. And I used to have a professor in university who had a great trick. That, you know how hard it is to ask the first question? So we'll start with the second. So who's got a second question?
You can just turn your microphone on if you like.
I got one for you, Bryan. It's Paul Smith here, PR Smith.
Oh yeah, how you doing, Paul?
Very well, thanks very much indeed. And hello, Shayne and everybody else. Excellent session. Is this brand new? Have you got some success stories of applying this already, or is it too early days?
So yes, and some is new and some is not. So running the toolkit in innovation sprints, so we've probably run 40 or 50 right now. And that one works out of the box every time. You don't fail at all. This stuff in Miro is new because actually what we saw is an opportunity to make those things better. And we have some limited success, but we're looking for more people to try it out.
Yeah. Okay. Any quirky examples from previous work of clever products that are generated from the kind of whole NPD process?
I think of what I can share with you. Actually, the example, the one that's it's easy to share because it's not blocked by confidential at all, is we were looking at a program to promote biking in Belgium, which is the ones that we put in here. And we generated, I don't know, 600-700 ideas. We went through voting back and forth, and actually ended up with 5 programs that the government agreed to implement in the country of Belgium. And this was done in 1 day. From the
Fantastic.
and that's cool.
That's great. What kind of results did it get?
Well, they're just starting the program, so I don't know if the program will work or not. But at least we got the budget, so that's in the
Yeah. Great. Okay, many congrats. Great presentation. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you for that, Paul, by the way.
Yes, actually. I work with software R&D sometimes. Do you have a C4 model implemented for software architecture on those whiteboards?
I would have to say, what do you mean by a C4 model?
Let me show you.
I thought I was the only person who didn't understand. Okay, cool.
That is a particular model that we use to model software architecture, basically.
Oh, okay, great.
At 4 different levels.
So you're asking, are you asking if we've modeled the AI for Innovation website on that, or the boards on that, or
do you have this one implemented, or maybe something similar to model software architecture?
not at the moment?
Okay,
Could do.
thanks.
But if you want,
Certainly,
Shayne is much more
certainly possible to.
more clever than I am. Set up a time to meet with Shayne, talk about it. I'm sure he can figure out something that's clever that you could work. Because what I see when I look at your page here, it's very visual.
Indeed.
And actually, visual collaboration is essentially the homeland of Shayne Smart.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I have to make AI visual is because I prefer visual to text. Yeah, I mean, let's just connect with me on LinkedIn and we can have a look at it.
Sure, thanks.
I mean, it certainly looks immediately appealing to make that work with AI on the board. I can say that straight away.
Cool. So that was it today, guys. I appreciate everybody who came. I'm going to ask you one more time if you could give us some feedback, what you remember, what you don't remember. And we'll send you a bunch of free stuff. It's cool. It works out of the box. It'll make you go faster. It'll impress your friends. Your wife will love you more. Everything's fantastic. So thank you, everybody. I'm glad you came, and I hope to see you again. And by the way, I'm doing an event on Monday, which is about designing AI GPTs, which is actually quite cool. And if some of you want to do it, I'll stick here for 10 seconds and I'll give you the link.
Is that with Nadia?
No, it's not. Actually, it's me all by myself with a couple people designing it.
Well, you've designed a lot of GPTs by now. So
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay, thank you, everybody. Shayne, can you stick
Thanks.
around for a minute?
For sure.
We'll go from there.